Welcome back, folks. Our Homeland Security segment is brought to you by Hearing Aid Centers in Palm Desert and Big Bear. Better hearing is better living. For more information, go to hearingaidcenters.com. A Harvard-Harris poll shows that 80% of you deplorable, racist Americans oppose sanctuary cities, despite the nonsense and rhetoric that you hear from our everyday politicians. President Trump vows to hire 10,000 new ICE officials as new Department of Homeland Security memos reveal our immigration and deportation policies are about to see major changes from previous administrations. Okay, Maury, so President Trump said on the campaign trail, we're building a wall, and by golly, I think we're going to build a wall. Now, it may not be a continuous wall, but we're going to build some barriers in El Centro, in southern Arizona, in Texas, and we're hiring 10,000 ICE agents, and it looks like he's putting the crack down like he said he was.
I think that part is much more effective, the idea of right off the bat getting these 10,000 ICE agents out there and not kidding around. And just, it makes me sick to think about these people that have robbed and murdered
multiple times, multiple deportations.
I mean, this country has the...
Now, you know the media, the propagandist media and the left, they're going to pull out the one person that is a maid who has a kid. They're not going to go after the criminals, the rapists, the gangbangers, the guys that are making up 40% of our federal prison inmates right now. They're going to go after the hapless irrigation landscape worker and make him be the story. You know that.
Well, that's the way it is. I think the fact is that last week we talked about walls, we talked about immigration, and my particular personal story on that, and so on, and the fact there was a ship called the St. Louis that had 185 German fleeing Germany, and they weren't allowed to land in Havana, so the Fulgencio Batista, who was the dictator, said, send me another 50,000, I'll let them land. The Jewish agency wouldn't do that. So when they tried to land in Miami, Roosevelt said, forget it, I'm not going to have a bunch of Jews coming into this country, and that'll be propaganda used against me when I go for a third term, which I know made you very unhappy, and I thank you for being that way about it. But the point is that we've got a situation today that's out of hand. You know, we've got a lot of Asians coming in this country, going to colleges, getting well educated.
That's an excellent point, because a lot of the people that are here came here legally and overstayed their visas.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're all coming across the border. A lot of them we let in. They just never got out.
Yeah, that's exactly true. And the projection is that within the next 25, 30 years, Asiatics will probably be the largest minority group in this country. So we're not against, this country has thrived on people coming into this country.
Do you think that him polishing up his executive order, so to speak, the first one was not allowing anyone from the 7 Muslim countries coming into the country. Now he says if you have a visa, you can come in. If you have a green card, you can come in. He kind of polished it up a little bit. Do you think that that's going to go over any better than it did the first time around?
Oh, he'll keep pushing it until he gets his way. And that Ninth Court might as well come out of Moscow with the kind of final objectivity that they give to anything. I mean, this is...
You know what the interesting thing about that is? Trump is going to have a chance to flip that court to a conservative bent in this first term, because he's going to be allowed to put on, I think, 8 or 9 justices on that court.
I think a year from now you'll see things a lot different than you see today. I think he's gotten some of the most intelligent people in the country, and he's also warning, he's putting Iran on notice. That means you start anything, you're going to live to regret it. He isn't spelling it out. I don't think this is why Israel celebrated when Trump won the election, because they knew now they have a chance for survival without worrying about it on a daily basis.
Sanctuary cities, that's another one that's going to be very contentious, that's going to catch a lot of flack. 80% of the American people in a new poll, a Harvard-Harris poll, say that they are against sanctuary cities. It's one of the most ridiculous, asinine situations.
It's treasonous, treacherous, and unacceptable. I mean, you can't say, if you have a sanctuary country, that's your problem. But saying within a country, you are committing a treasonous act by saying that your particular state, city, farm, or whatever is...
So then why couldn't Houston, Texas declare a sanctuary city for guns? Where anybody and everybody could have a gun, and you didn't have to register or talk about it or do anything. You couldn't get in trouble for it.
What you're saying is it is a destruction of law and order and taking away the foundation of this country, which was based on a solid foundation of progress, economics, and also being the world leader. We were the world leader not because we have all that coal in the ground or we have oil and so on, but because the world respected the United States as a country of decency and a country that gave of itself to other countries when they had problems. I'm sorry to say that the last 16 years have shown that we're going downhill, and I've taken 2 terms of Obama, who I think did it deliberately, and 2 terms of George W. Bush, who I don't think knew any better.
And 2 terms of Clinton, and even the term of the elder Bush, I would have to say.
Yeah, well,
they're all basically cut from the same cloth. They have different letters after their name, but they're pretty much from the same country club.
That's why Jeb Bush, who's a decent guy, was governor of Florida a couple of times, would never
Came in
have
25th.
Exactly.
Behind Lindsey Graham.
Well, that's because people catch on pretty fast. Don't ever try to fool the American people too often.
My point is that if you can set up a sanctuary city, which is basically we cannot take the law as the law is and uphold the law, why couldn't you do the same thing in other cities for other reasons, for things that you wanted to do? It never ends, am I right?
Well, one of the most ridiculous cities in the United States is the biggest city, New York. When Giuliani was mayor, boy, did he clean up that city. People were afraid to walk on the streets. Suddenly, he made it into a great tourist paradise. Now they got this guy, Biazzi. It's funny about it. He pretends to be Latino. The guy's a German. His whole
he changed his name, too.
Yeah, exactly.
His name's not de Blasio. I forget what it is. You can Google it and find out in 10 seconds. But, yeah, he changed his name as well.
Probably Schicklgruber or something like that.
I don't know what it was. But sanctuary cities, would you stop funding? Would you cut off federal funding?
Yeah, I would. I would put a squeeze on it, absolutely. They're breaking the law. Why should they have federal funding so they can go on breaking the law?
We need to take a brief time out. If you want to watch the show in its entirety or just catch any one of the segments, it's simple. It's free. You just go to YouTube. You search Morris Beschloss. If you remember to like us, recommend us, and leave comments, good or bad, and share with your family or friends. We'll be right back.